Hello, everybody. Wonderful Wednesday. Thank you for joining us today as we demonstrate and build out a use case on the strategic planning 2.0.1. Was frequently known as the Alignment Planner Workspace. A couple of housekeeping items. Please use the Q&A for all your questions during this session today. We have Luis, Scott, and Mark, and several other experts available to help answer your questions. This session is being recorded and will be shared when the meetup is complete. You will be able to access it via a link on the SPM community, and we'll give you that information. Finally, we hope you are able to take a short survey at the end of this presentation so we can better understand where you're at, the content that you would like to see, and how was this meetup? Was it fitting your needs? Did you get enough information, and so on? The safe harbor. We will be utilizing the Strategic Planner 2.0.1 for the February release, Q1 of 2023. It's a store release. I will be using it on the Utah version today, and I know that we'll make some forward-looking statements, thus safe harbor. Our agenda here, we're going to cover introductions. Then we're going to take two quick surveys, polls, I guess we'd say, so you can see where you are with the SPM, so we can see where you are with your SPM journey and upgrades. Then we're going to talk about what's new for Strategic Planning 2.0, SPM Professional. I will then demo the workspace navigation and other key features of the Strategic Planning Workspace. We will review the use case that we've put together, and then we're going to build it out live. We'll build out building a lens and then use build a portfolio using that lens. At the end, we'll open up for question and answers. And again, just a reminder, we'll be using the Strategic Planner 2.01, our February release, Q1 of 2023 store release. And this will be licensed under the SPM Professional. It is also compatible with Tokyo and Utah. I'd like to introduce myself. I am Molly Fetro. I'm a product success manager with the Strategic Portfolio Management Product Success team. I'm going to be your host today. I've been working with ServiceNow since 2010 in various roles. I've been a business process consultant, a technical consultant, an architect, a developer, etc. My co-host today is Luis. Luis, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Molly. Hi, everyone. Luis Ataide here. It's a pleasure to have you here. I could recognize some familiar names. That's great. I'm also a product success manager for SPM. I'm located in EMEA. I have spent 11 years in strategic portfolio management solutions, on which 4 of those with ServiceNow, helping customers like you on best practice design, implementation, and adoption. And as mentioned before by Molly, if you have questions during the presentation, please post your questions, and I'll be working on the background with our colleagues to answer your questions as the best as you can. And at the end, you have an opportunity as well to raise some questions alive, if you still have some. Thanks, Molly. Back to you.
Thank you, Luis. Okay, Shamil, would you like to do the quick poll? Number 1, are you aligning work with your strategies across the enterprise? Boy, I can't talk today. This is great. Wow. Super information. Really love it how we see that you're over 41% you've started, but it's going a little slow. So excellent. Hoping that we can help you out today. Okay, you've got let's see. Looks like we're probably at a point where we can stop this, but what we're looking at here, okay, so we've got 23%, you've not started, all right, and then wow, awesome, you've started, however, it's going slow, 60%, and then you're progressing and planning as great results, and seeing good results already. Super. All right, well, hopefully this here session should help out there. Okay. Okay, we'll go on to the next poll. What is your upgrade strategy? Want to go ahead and put that one up there, Shamil? Okay. All right, well. All right, we're still getting results here. Looks like a lot of you are 14 and 28, so we got to 2 and so we have 42, 43. All right, so 43% of the participants here look like you're still on San Diego and you're either waiting for Utah or going to get to Tokyo. Okay. Yeah, actually with this meetup, we're going to be talking about the lenses, right, that are there that we have in Tokyo, and how it's much easier to build out your portfolio plans. Okay, well, thank you very much for participating. I'll take that down now. All right. Well, let's go ahead and go on to the Strategic Planner 2.0.1 and see what's new. I am actually going to stop sharing just so my video doesn't interrupt anything. Okay. So we have a couple of terms here that we use when using strategic or portfolio planning, and we'll use them throughout this presentation. I'll be demonstrating these live in the next session. Strategic and portfolio planning workspaces are a unified graphical interface for an integrated roadmap planning so that it allows the portfolio manager to plan and track traditional and agile work within their portfolio. Quite a lot, right? Just know that it's a unified graphical interface. We have lens structure, and this is defined as the hierarchy used within a lens. The lens structure consists of lens entities, and these lens entities represent different levels of planning. I'll be showing you this information. Portfolio plans, it's a personalized portfolio plan, and it enables us to focus on planning our work in the desired perspective, which is that lens, and it helps us to align strategy and drive shared outcomes. These portfolio plans are shareable in Tokyo and Utah and beyond. Our free-form roadmaps, they're a standalone visual roadmap, and to start high-level planning of work across multiple units within your organization. We have goals, and they represent specific financial and non-financial objectives and results. as a company or as a department or a portfolio, which aims to achieve the specific, where the goals are aimed to achieve over a specific time period. Goals are typically quantitative by nature, should be ambitious, and are expected to motivate and challenge your teams. Targets, well, they're going to track and measure the progress of those goals. So a lot of information here on the terminology. Hopefully you'll catch it, and we'll just, reiterate them along the way. And again, I just want to make sure that you put your questions into the Q&A. That way, Luis, Scott, Mark, and others can answer. So here's the real big thing that's happening with our Strategic Planner 2.0.1. Also with our Portfolio Planning 6.0.1. This is our February Q1 2023 store releases. We'd like to highlight a major name change that will allow you to more easily find and install this product as a single package. Okay, so for customers with SPM standard license, the application name is now Portfolio Planning. Portfolio Planning is best for customers using the traditional planning methodologies and who will be using the out-of-box functionality. For customers with SPM Professional License, the application name is now called Strategic Planning. So Strategic Planning is best suited for customers using Agile or hybrid methodologies and who would like to increase flexibility and configuration options. And this strategic portfolio management includes the goal framework for SPM, where you will be able to create objectives and key results, OKRs. The Strategic Planning 2.0.1 has added 3 additional lenses. The first one is the portfolio lens, and this is available in Portfolio Planning 6.0.1 for standard license. It will also be included in the SPM Professional. And this lens enables customers to plan, prioritize, and roadmap work as it aligns to it enables customers that already are using that portfolio table, right? The project portfolio table, and it will take advantage of the lens functionality. By default, this lens groups planning items of demand and projects. Now moving on, next we have that value stream, and this is included in the SPM Professional, which enables customers to plan, prioritize, and roadmap as it aligns to a value stream. This is just a basic lens structure that was designed for app dev value stream. And it will break down the value streams into, as you see, products and then epics. The value stream table is part of the CMDB, but it will be utilized by the Common Service Data Model methodology. And finally, we have the goals. The goals lens is included also in the portfolio, or SPM Professional. And this will allow you to actually create goal-driven portfolio plans. This lens really just displays the goals and the sub-goals. If we move on, now we're showing you the conceptual diagram. This is an overview of the tables used within strategic and portfolio planning planning, you will see that the ServiceNow platform and the SPM tables are used for that lens structure. Then we look at the actual execution tables and the alignment tables, and they are used to sync the work item data. Now, I'd like to take a look at the features within Strategic Planning 2.0.1. And again, for demo purposes, my instance is on the family release of Utah. I'll be walking through the navigation of Strategic Planning Workspace included in the professional licenses. And I can tell you that most of the features in Strategic Planning 2.0.1 are also available in the Portfolio Planning 6.1 standard license. All right. Let me go ahead and end this and go ahead and bring down my instance. All right. I'm going to go in and I'm going to impersonate Jake. He will be our executive leader. And Jake is going to show us the strategic, I think he is, there he is. Okay, Jake is going to show us the workspace of Strategic Planning Workspace. So right now we are on what we call the home page. The home page is going to list us our portfolio plans that we have created, as well as what has been shared to us. We can also create free-form roadmaps, and these free-form roadmaps can be built from out-of-box lenses or any custom lens or tables that we would like to build a roadmap, free-form roadmap on. So let's take a look at the one more thing about free-form. They were used to be known as the ad hoc roadmap. Okay, I'd like to go to our portfolio plan, and I'd like to take a look at the HR department portfolio. So if I go into planning and I look at the prioritization tab, what this is actually showing me is a prioritization list with ranking that can be changed. And we can change this ranking if I take the ranking. Actually, hang on a second. I'm going to move the ranking and move it up. There you go. Now it changes from 4 to 2. We can also look at this portfolio view with, we're looking at it as a list. We can look at it as a Kanban, or we can look at it as the hierarchical. I'd like to take a look at the hierarchical view. We can use this lens here in the hierarchical view. We can change it from our project portfolio to either the goals, organizations, or whatever other lenses that we have built. And when you do that, you'll just see a different roll up of the actual planning items, as well as be able to see any differences here within your portfolio plan. If you look at this 3 buttons, you'll be able to click on this, and this will take you to the actual execution form of the planning items. So this would open in a demand. This one would open in a project workspace or the project status report, because it is a project. We can adjust. I love the Gantt view. I just do. And how I actually got here was as the layout. You can have the layout be grid, just plain old grid stuff. You can have it be timeline, which gives you this information, or you can have both grid and timeline. I just love it. One of the things that we can do is we can drop and drag, or we can move our, and if I can get to it here, hang tight. let me try a different one. That's better. I can move my dates. Know that moving the items or moving the dates does not move the actual execution item. It only moves the approval dates within the planning in the workspace. Okay. Now, if I want to personalize this, I can go under the personalized cog. I can open it up. I can look at my columns. And I can say, okay, I don't want to see priority on my columns. Maybe I want to see the actual state versus the planning state. I'm going to go ahead and move this up. And I'm going to, oops, I let it go. So I have to do that again. I can move it up. Of course, doing it live just gives you a little bit of an issue. Hang with me. So I want to move this up by priority. Now, when I apply this, I'm going to see that in my column lists. Right? So now I have my planning state and I should see the state, which let's take a look. Why didn't that move? Oh, didn't move it high enough, apparently. Let's just put portfolio in here and let me move that up. I'm going to move it to underneath number and then let me move it up to, okay, there's state there. So I'm going to move it under state and now apply it. And let's see where this actually is. It might not be high enough. Okay, so it's underneath owner primary. So let's take a look at that. There we go. There's our state. There's our portfolio. All right. That's how you prioritize the view. Now, I'd like to also take a look at the roadmap. Of course, it wants to take its little load time. What it's doing is actually building out this roadmap. Okay, a little bit of time. Let me see if I can, let's try Acme and see if Acme will come any better. Guess I just need to be a little bit patient. Okay, grand. So Acme here is showing me the roadmap. And what we'll see here on our roadmap is going into the Personalize. You can do group by, and as you see right here, I'm grouping by planning and planning item. You're only able to do 2 group bys. You can do color by. I'm doing the planning type. So if I, say I don't want this and I don't want these 2, it would come in and I wouldn't, all I would see was a roadmap. Let me add back the department and the planning item maybe I wanted to see, so I can see the planning type, demands and projects. Again, I'll add in the planning type color. So now you can see that, how you grouped it. If you would like to see the owner, you can see the owner on the bar. If the owner is populated, if you don't want to see it, you can remove it. For metrics, you're going to be able to add a metric also to the bar, and you can add up to 3 of these. So if I move it to actual cost, let's see what actual cost is. Of course, the demands don't have actual cost, and we only have a little bit of actual cost on the ones that are in progress. If I want to see the roadmap milestone, which I have here, I've set one up. That's our SPM roadmap. If there are items, our items have roadmaps, you would see those too, and you can do dependencies and you can see that current date line. Great. Now, if you also take a look here, you can do any type of filtering that you'd like. Right now, these are filtering by the state prioritized. That's our default. so that we know the prioritized come in. And I'll show you, you could change that to review or whatever. If you only wanted to see the ones in review, you can update that filter by adding to it. Okay. Next, I would like to just show you right here real quick how you can zoom in or zoom out. If you want to zoom in and see what's happening, right? You can also reset the zoom. Here you can easily, if there were any dependencies, you could disable the dependencies or enable them. And then you've also got your legend, basically telling you what the color by is, and then if there's any upcoming milestones. If we go back over here to the prioritization, we're able to share this roadmap and, this portfolio. This portfolio has a timeline. It is owned by the system administrator. And then you have the department HR. Since the owner is system administrator, but Jake actually has the APM admin role, he can share this. Usually it's only the owner that can share. So in order to share, we can say that we want this to go to the SPM. I think I've got an SPM group. I'd like this to go to the SPM group. I can't spell today. There we go. I might want it to go to, not quite working. There we go. I'd like to go to the SPM planners, right? In order to show up here, you have to have either the APW user or the APW admin. You can give them access to either view it or edit it, and then you can give them a message of, okay, we are, this is planning items by HR department. Then when you send them this invite, they will get a notice, and then they'll be able to see the plans. So you can see that it was shared successfully. Next is something that's been enhanced in both the portfolio and the strategic planning is the lists. This list view is actually going to show us our lenses and then the lens entity underneath. So it's going to give us the information, the data that's been pulled in to those lens entities, and give us values that have been set up. It also shows us the projects that have been pulled in as planning items. And remember when I did the change, it only is changing the approved date, not the planning date. All right. So we don't all need to get nervous about anything when we're doing our planning. And again, when we looked at the filter was on only things that were prioritized. So if I wanted to change the filter to those that were in review, right? So giving me some type of maybe a backlog view, or even include review and new, that filter would then give me like a backlog view of my planning. Let's go back to our portfolio plan and let's take a look at the goals. Goals, the name has changed for goals also, and that's now called Goals for SPM. It used to be Goals Framework Advanced, so it has changed. What the overview tab is going to show us how many goals we have and the status of those goals, if they've been aligned to work, and if there are target dues for review. If we go into any one of these charts and click on it, it's then going to pull us the data from that chart. So we went into the one that is aligned, and this one is telling me that it's aligned to redesign employee compensation. And You can also do any kind of filtering here if I had more than one. This also tells me that it's in progress and it's owned by Megan. I can add here, add columns, and maybe I want to add planning type if it's here. It's not here, but I might want to just say, okay, I see that it's aligned to the HR, right? But I also maybe want to, impact on the parent or initiative or the name. Any other thing, I can add it over here and place it. Okay. Another thing about goals is the hierarchical view. In this view, you're going to see the goal, and then if it has any targets, you're going to be able to see the status, the progress, who owns it, the start and end, and a lot of different information. And again, you can hit the personalize and add or delete any columns. And in the rows, you can shade every other one so you can kind of get yourself some alignment on where things are. Now, one of the things is if I would like to either create a sub goal or align it to work, I can do that. By creating a sub goal, one of the nice things that we've brought in here on the new goal form, whether it's a sub goal or a goal, I'm just going to name this, let's see. Balance work. Now, you can need that it filled in the parent goal. It also has a start and end date, and I can change that, who owns it. Here is what we've enhanced, and hopefully it is less confusing, because one of the things you want to know is which lens do I want to, of my lens hierarchy that I built my portfolio plan from, what do I want to align it to? So I'm going to say this is going to, since it's aligned to the department, maybe I want to align it to the business unit. And then I can look for any values within that. So I'll align it to the business unit. Okay. And then I can say save. And then what it'll do is it will drop it in over here. And now I have a sub goal. One was aligned to the department, one's aligned to the business unit. And then we still have the target. Within that target, you can actually set your target information. And this is, the start and end date. When do you want to, what's the frequency that you want to review it? Weekly, monthly, yearly. You can then, with this review date, it will pull in from the start date, and it will tell you when it will next need to be reviewed. You also have the maximize. You can give it a target value and then the impact. We'll talk a little bit about automating the actual values that came out in the goals framework, and that will help you with saying maybe you want to automate this by whether it's by surveys or by a PA indicator or a benefit plan. And then it will automatically update your values and it'll help you with your progress. Okay. Lots of stuff, lots of great information. So now we would like to go back to our presentation. Okay, where is my presentation? Oh, there it is. It's up here. My apologies. Are there any questions that we would like to answer here?
Hey, Molly, there is a quick question. It's possible to show the Kanban view.
Okay, absolutely, can do. All right, let's go back into my workspace. Let's go into strategic planning. planning. And then let's take a look at the Kanban view. The Kanban view will be enhanced again when in our Vancouver, and then going forward. Right now, we just wanted to pull it out. So now you can see I've got critical items, and we've got 1 in review, 2 prioritized, and 1 done. I've got some high. So the next thing you're going to ask me is, can we change these columns, or can we change the grouping? At this time, you cannot, right? You can, do it by planning state, priority, or status. You can do that, but swim lanes, we only have a few choices here. Maybe we say, okay, can't be status, right? So planning state. So again, you have minimal, but you can do a little bit of changing. And again, we are going to be enhancing this as we go forward. All right. Now I'll go back into my presentation. Okay, so we've been through the what's new with strategic planning. One thing I'd like to point out is, again, we went over the strategic planning 2.0.1, which is with our professional license. Now, I just am going to, kind of reiterate, there is some differences. And the portfolio planning 6.0.1 standard. What's not available in this is when you view the portfolio planning workspace, goals are not available because that's our goals framework for SPM. The portfolio plans can only utilize 2 lenses, right? It's the organization and the new one, project portfolio. And then we have the Kanban view on the prioritization of the planning item. You will not be able to see that in standard. Okay. And what I did show you in the instance, I have slides that actually support that, right? So you'll be able to see those slides. Now I'd like to go into our next portion of our meetup. And this is the big one where we are going to build out a use case, actually live in the instance. So let's go over it. Okay, again, there's some terminology here. Strategic plans, they're going to outline the vision, mission, and core values. The strategic priority, it's going to define the strategy to help you operationalize your strategic plan and orient towards your organizational goals. The strategic priorities have also been known as focus areas or long-term strategies. Now, there are some planning items also known as strategic items, and they help you to further break down your strategic priority. These are usually, these span across the organization, such as BUs, departments, and portfolios. And one example of those is going to be that initiative. Your initiative, they're going to be specific activities the organization will undertake to put in place those strategic priorities. Now, I've already shown you your portfolio plan, right? User defined, and it has to consist of at least one entity. You have your goals, again, known as objectives, and they should be quantitative, they should be ambitious, and they're expected to motivate the teams. And then the targets, they're going to go ahead and track and measure the progress of your goals. So for our use case, we're going to build out a strategic hierarchy, right? So we're going to build out one of our structured lenses. And we're going to use that for our strategic planning. Jake Elliott is an executive leader at Mobile One, and I made this all up, okay? So he's responsible for the Enterprise Project Management Office, and that is sometimes called the Office of Strategic Management. Mobile One has a strategic plan, and it is aligned to strategic priorities, and which have supporting initiatives. Jake, he wants to see and visualize how the planned work aligns to the initiatives and the corporate strategies, or the corporate priorities, and so that they can, actually carry out that strategic plan. We're going to use ServiceNow Strategic Portfolio Management to solution this. And so Jake will then have a central clearinghouse for his business data and anything related to that Mobile One strategy. What this looks like is we have that strategic plan, which has the vision, mission, and the core values. I've set this up and I'm going to show you within the instance. We have the strategic priorities set up and we have initiatives. We have them tied to planning items, demands, and projects. And then we also have goals related to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and review the data that I've set up. We're going to create the strategic plan. We're going to update and create a strategic portfolio plan. We'll look at goals and then we'll look at the review. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this in my instance. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I have things set up. Jake does as favorites. He's going to go ahead and set up a lens. And in order to do that, you go into lens, you go into new, and then you give it a name. Our name is going to be strategic plan. Description is going to be align the I'll just say that. I'll need to activate it in order to use it. I'm not seeing it activating. All right, it won't activate till I actually save it. So I apologize. What we want to do is we want to move over all our planning items. And then we're going to go ahead and save this. Once we've saved it, we can make it active, and that's something, you really want to make sure you do. Okay, now I'm going to, because I want to stay on this, I activated it, I'll save it. Now I want to build out that lens structure. Okay, lens should have at least one. Okay, that's fine too. Okay. Let me deactivate it. All right, now I can set up a lens structure. I'm going a little bit too fast because I know I'm running out of time. I will let you know that I have built out a guide for you, which walks you through all the plugins you're going to need. Also is going to walk you through any of the configuration you're going to need. I also have some data files for you that have the plan, the priorities, and the initiatives. And then I have the goals and targets also for you, so that you can build your own strategic lens as well as the portfolio. So if we don't get to showing everything here, you know that you're in good hands. I've got a guide. So for the first entity, we want that to be our strategic plan, because that's the top of the house. This is what we have here is the top entity. I'll submit that. Next, we're going to bring in our priorities. So if I strategic priority, it's not the top entity. So I need to align it to my parent, which is that strategic plan. And I will align it to the strategic plan is the parent entity reference. The last node is going to be our initiative. And this node will align with the strategic priorities. And this will be strategic priority. Okay. So now when I submit that, I now have my lens structure. I have my parent aligning my priority and aligning my initiative. I have put this item, this attribute on here just so you can see it. It automatically populates with the bottom node. Now this bottom node needs to be available on your planning items in order for this to work. And I have, I actually picked the wrong one here. I'm sorry, let me update this. I need it to go to the lowercase one, which is the one that is populated. Okay, there we go. Now, again, this is the structure. Initiative needs to be populated on your planning items. All right, let me go ahead and now activate it. And that will allow me to be able to build a portfolio plan. Jake will now go into his workspace and he will go into home. And from here, he's going to build a new portfolio plan. His portfolio plan will be the strategic priorities aligned to the mobile one. And I'm going to, one of the things I'd like to show you here also is, so if I go into my strategic plans, I'll open this in a new tab just to show you that I've already set up the data. So that strategic plan has my name and then my start date and end date. And again, a strategic plan is, you know, either 3 to 5 years. You have a description, you have your vision, you have your mission, you have those 4 core values, and you also have your strategic priorities aligned to it. So that was my strategic plan with my priorities. Now, looking at this lens, we're going to pick the one that we just activated. So we know that we have the plan, the priority, the initiatives, and then the planning items. I'm going to select that and I will select next. This now asks me, okay, which entity level do you want to pull into your plan? And I'm going to say strategic priority. And I had 3 strategic priorities: business, customer, and I had operational. It says down here how many you have selected, and it'll allow you to see them. I'm going to go on now to, I've selected the entities. If I needed any filters in my plan from my planning items, I would put that filter here. The details is going to be, I need to say what this is, and this is going to be mobile one. So that's the name of my portfolio plan. Who owns it? Gregorian means that it's going to give you your calendar dates, and fiscal says it's going to give you any of your fiscal dates. If you see this problem where it's empty, we actually have a fixed script that will, what it does is it, you have your physical period set up, this fixed script actually takes the fiscal periods and moves it into the business calendar, why these are empty. Going back to Gregorian, I'm going to say that this plan actually started in 2022. 01. And so what this means is I'm going to see any type of planning items within these dates. Okay, so I'm going to say planning items by strategic. All right, let's create it. I think I did it. Yep, I did. Okay. What it's going to do is it's going to then go out and find if there are any goals that have been related to any of my items, actually to the strategic priorities. It's going to see if there, so let me see, we've got some green going on here. So we've got some goals here. They're aligned to some initiatives that are showing up, which the initiatives are actually related to the priorities. So that's why they show up here, right? And then you can actually go into those goals. And then you can see if there's any targets aligned to them. And I'm not seeing any targets aligned to this one, but I do have them aligned to different ones. Okay. Again, you can see that better here in the hierarchy to know if you've got anything aligned to them. And yes, I do. I have a target here, and so on. Let's go ahead and go into planning. So now we can see that there are some planning items that are in our prioritization list. Some of them are under review, some are new. If I turn new into prioritize, they'd show up on my roadmap. Again, I can see this in the hierarchical view, and this is going to tell me that I've got a strategic lens from the plan, which is mobile one. I have the priority, which is the business growth. And then I have initiatives that are aligned to the priority. And then I have the actual planning item, which is a project. So I have this project that's going to help me carry out this initiative, which is going to help me do the priority here. And then it's going to tie to the one plan. Pretty sweet, huh? I'm going to go ahead and go into my roadmap and show you that. And I'd like to open this, go ahead and open it up for questions. So Shamil, if you want to just let people ask questions live, if they'd like, we can do that. Anybody have any questions that they'd, I might need to, any questions? How was this for you? Is it open? Mics are open.
Hi, this is Miraj. I have a quick question for you. By the way, this was very helpful. I don't know, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, so one of the things that would be very helpful is this the lens concept. I think this is great, but you know, what I'm trying to understand is the vocabulary, right? So you know, we have a certain ask, and you know, you created this lens. But if there's a glossary of the different levels that you have, right? Like what does initiative mean as opposed to a portfolio, as opposed to a strategic plan, that kind of thing, if you will, you know, I think that would be helpful for us to align things better.
Absolutely. You know what? And I have that, and I guess I didn't put it in here, but absolutely. Okay.
And when will this be available to us, the resources and all? You know, we are working actively on a demo for a client, so I just wanted to see if we can incorporate some of this.
Yeah, I'll get this out to you. So you're right. You wanted to know what the strategic plan is. We did talk about that for vocabulary, but actually seeing it and seeing it and reading it is something definitely.
Yeah. Well, plus you have other things in the lens that can be there, right? So I just want to make sure that we are aligning it to the right object, if you will. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you.
And others, just so you can understand too, you know, basically you ask yourself, right? What do I want to see do I want to see things by the organization? And then if I see them by the organization, at what level would I like to see them? And product portfolio. There is a strategic investment lens, which has it by company, priority, initiative, and then that strategic program. Now I changed it just so we could see how to create a lens, and you can build this on your own with the guide. But totally understand what you're talking about.
Molly,
Mm-hmm.
this is Etta. Now that we're moving in this direction, and I can see, you know, as you start to prioritize, where is it's not called scenario planning anymore. Portfolio planning going to fit in, like your what if scenarios. Will that eventually come over to here too?
Investment planning.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, a build on to this would be probably another meetup, and that
Yep.
would be with building out your portfolio plans,
Mhm.
but actually taking it and then being able to see that information on your strategic prioritization.
Perfect. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this Etta Wilson?
It is Etta Wilson.
Hello. And
Hello.
congratulations on moving over to GlideSoft.
Oh,
Hey, Etta.
what?
This is Scott. I'll answer that question a little further out. Long-term in the roadmap, under safe harbor, right? The intent is to add scenario planning to what you're seeing here, right? But to do that, you have to add finance and resource or capacity, and that's on the roadmap.
I know that's coming as well.
Yes.
Here's what I can already see this. This is going to be the new home.
Mm-hmm.
Good observation.
Good
Hey,
observation.
I've been around a while, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was able to add my milestones, right? So you can see those, and then you can see that this here dependency that's on here, there's a problem with it, right? And the problem with it is that if I have my end user market study, depending on, or actually it's the other way, if I have my develop marketing and branding dependent on this, what I need to do is this needs to move out in order to change that dependency so it's not in error or whatever, right? Okay. So again, all I want to tell you though is this is planning. This is not the actual move of the data. So anything else I believe we know
we are
what's in the
over the-
data.
Hi, one question.
Absolutely.
When will the project portfolio lens be available? Will that be available in Utah or Tokyo?
So it will be available in Tokyo. Okay. But you will need to get the portfolio planning 6.0.1 from the store, or you'll need to upgrade your professional to this strategic planning 2.0.1. Okay.
Okay.
So it is available in Tokyo, and it's called the February Q1 2023 store release.
Got it. Thank you, Molly.
Absolutely. Okay, knowledge check here. I know we're running 2 minutes over. Thank you for staying. We navigated the strategic portfolio. We built a new lens, and then you could see the alignment of the goals, targets, right? So any other questions that you have here? And I am positive that you were in good hands with Louis and Scott and Mark.
Hello, can you hear me?
Quick one. Is it
Absolutely.
okay to use the scenario planning right now? For the till you guys have this on your roadmap. The portfolio scenario planning for budgeting and resource planning, that kind of thing. Still, is that still okay?
You can still use it,
Okay.
but not all the components are available for visibility on the strategic planning workspace.
Okay. All right. I'll try it out. Thank you.
All right.
All right, grand. I heard somebody else.
Molly, this is a great session. Just to be mindful of the time and everybody's time here. We're going to have additional follow-ups.
Okay, yes.
I definitely want to thank everybody for attending here today. And please go to the SPM events website to look for future events that are coming. We have planning on these every single month. So thank you very much. And Molly, thank you. And
You're welcome.
have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Molly.
One more thing I'd like to say is, please, we're going to send out a survey, and please follow up with us on that survey. We'd like to know if we've hit the mark or not, what else you're looking for as far as topics to discuss. And yes, as Tony said, thank you, and we want to be mindful of you.